Why North Korea? A small and isolated country has never been afraid of the United States. North Korea is often portrayed as a poor, isolated, and backward nation, a country cut off from the global economy, a country under constant sanctions. And yet, it is one of the very few nations on Earth that openly challenges the most powerful military force in human history, the United States of America. Not for years, not for a decade, but for generations. So the question is not why North Korea is aggressive. The real question is, why is North Korea not afraid? To understand this, we must first understand where this mindset was born and what kind of fear shaped an entire nation. 1. A nation born from survival fear. To understand North Korea, we must return to the Korean War. Between 1950 and 1953, the United States carried out one of the most intense bombing campaigns in modern history. Cities were flattened, infrastructure was erased, millions of civilians were killed or displaced for North Korea. This was not just a war, it was an existential trauma, a collective memory passed down through generations. Witasingo, brutalisan, if we are weak, we will be destroyed. From that moment on, fear became doctrine, and survival became strategy. 2. North Korea does not need to defeat America. One of the greatest misconceptions is that North Korea wants to defeat the United States. It does not. North Korean leadership understands reality. They know the imbalance of power. They know a conventional war would be unwinnable. But modern warfare is not about victory alone. It is about cost, risk, and consequences. North Korea's strategy is simple and chillingly rational. Make the price of war unacceptable. If America hesitates, North Korea survives. That is enough. 3. Nuclear weapons. The ultimate survival insurance. North Korea's nuclear program is not about prestige. It is not about intimidation for its own sake. It is about one thing only: regime survival. From Pyongyang's perspective, recent history sends a clear message. Iraq had no nuclear weapons. It was invaded. Libya gave up its nuclear program. Its government collapsed. Ukraine surrendered its nuclear arsenal and lost territory. The conclusion is unavoidable. Nuclear weapons are not a threat tool. They are a shield. Even a small nuclear capability changes the entire strategic equation. Because no superpower wants to gamble with nuclear escalation. Not even the United States. 4. Turning the entire country into a fortress. North Korea does not fight wars the way modern Western militaries do. Instead, it prepares for total war. Millions of active and reserve troops, massive artillery formations, deep underground bunkers carved into mountains, missile bases hidden beneath civilian infrastructure, and just across the border lies Seoul, a megacity of tens of millions. In any conflict, Seoul becomes a hostage to geography. This reality alone forces Washington to pause, to calculate, to hesitate. 5. The dangerous power of having nothing to lose. The United States is a global superpower. Every military decision carries political costs, economic risk, international scrutiny. North Korea does not operate under those constraints. Decades of sanctions, economic isolation, diplomatic pressure. When a nation has already endured the worst, external pressure loses its power. This creates a dangerous asymmetry between the two sides. One side must avoid disaster. The other side has learned to live with it. In strategic terms, that imbalance favors the one who fears less. 6. Internal control and regime stability. Another, often underestimated factor is internal stability. North Korea tightly controls information. It defines the United States as an existential enemy, and it uses that threat to reinforce unity and loyalty at home. This makes internal collapse a scenario often hoped for by outsiders, far less predictable than it appears. Pressure from the outside does not weaken the system, it reinforces it. 7. Why North Korea is not afraid? North Korea is not fearless because it is stronger than America. It is fearless because it understands America's limits. The United States can win wars, but it cannot easily control the aftermath of one. North Korea does not need to win. It only needs to exist. And in global power politics, sometimes survival is the most effective form of victory. A small country, a cold, calculated strategy, and a simple message: we only need you to hesitate.